Alright, time to stream. A little bit late start. Sorry about that. Kids wouldn't sleep, so well, that has priority. So let's give this a shot. Okay, for tonight, what is planned? Let's see, one sec. Let me answer a message really quick. There we go. Okay, the plan for tonight. The plan is actually to do some resource scans on the Mun. So the idea is, if we go to the tracking station and we go to the Mun, I've got so much junk in orbit that I actually can't. There we go. Couldn't spot it. There's the Mun, and then we need our resource satellite. Let's turn all that off for a sec so I can have a little bit more clarity there. Go to the resource satellite from the ScanSat mod, and we will have a look at what is out there. Let me see how that worked again. First I do a resource scan. There we go. Resource. And is there, how did that work again? The overlay. Toggle overlay. There we go. We increase the cutoff. So the idea is to pick a couple of spots, preferably on the equator, and send some probes down to see how much resources are there. So basically the pink area, or pink, purple, whatever you want to call it, is where we will be headed. So that's just going to be the start of a refueling base and refueling space station, all for tourism, because we will be putting tourists on the Mun later on. So that's the plan for now. So first what we need to do is go back to the Space Center and start building a probe. So let's have a look to the VAB. And in the VAB we will make the satellites. So let's start with a small probe core. Should I put actually? Nah. Let's take something smaller. Don't save. Probo, a hex. We'll start with a hex. On the hex we put some fuel tanks. I'm going to try to make a mini lander. There. We will need some communications. We should probably be able to get away with that one. Hang on, there we go. Put that on there. We need a small engine. Oh, way too much delta V. It only needs to land there, that's it. So 1900, way enough to land on the Mun. Let's see if we can, yeah, look, do it like that. We need landing gear, so we will go for the micro struts. Those are big enough. And put 3 on there. There we go. That's at 1600 now, so we might actually put that tank back, but let's first see how far we get with this satellite. We need science. Surface scanner. Put that on as well. Just the one. And that's sticking out a bit far. So if you want to put something like this, you want to move it somewhat in, and you see the arrow isn't actually straight out. If you press F, can change the offset, and you can work it a bit easier. If you have the I don't even know what that's called, the snap on, it makes large jumps. If you turn the snap off with C, it will make small jumps. So you can basically sort of, well, kind of cheat and not have it stick out so much. So that's the service scanner that's installed. We need power, and let's have a look what we will use for electrical. Let's see. I'm gonna change this around a bit. Press C again. I want 3 of those, I think. Nope, because then it's over the scanner. How to do this? Let's take this off for a sec. Let's put some small solar panels on, like that. So that will, that's kind of big. Micro landers for the win. Let's use the Oxstat. I think that's better. Can we turn it like that? There we go. That looks pretty good. We will move those in a bit. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. By the way, you can use Control 1, 2, and 3. It's the same buttons that you have here. So if you do Control 2, you will select Move. Control 3, you select Rotate. Control 4, you can change the route so that the first part of the craft, which we will do later, because then we can install this on a rocket. Okay, so now this looks pretty good. I do think another fuel tank is in order because well, basically because of space. There we go. So that will be the probe. Press C once more. We'll put the scanner on this side. And with X you can change the symmetry. So we'll put that scanner right there. Change the offset. Hang on. There we go. That looks good. So now we have some more space for other stuff. So we need an antenna. Antenna, communications. Let's have a look. Oh, that's really big. Let's just stay with that one. That looked pretty okay. Let's see, like that. Put that on the edge there. So we have power. We have the scanner we need. We have an engine. We have plenty of TWR with way too much delta V, really, but that's okay. I don't think that will hurt, actually. Do we need anything else? No, I think this is pretty good. Maybe a battery, just in case we have to land in the dark. Electrical. This is probably a bit big. Yeah, that's a bit big. Oh, hang on. Power. We'll use that one. Only one of them. The Batman battery. And we will also put that in a bit. There we go. Like so. And actually I am going to try this out outside for a second. So just to see how that flies, if it's able to fly in a straight line. So we will call this or I could just call it Prospector. Prospector. Save, launch. Let's have a look what that will do. The Prospector on the runway, stage, SAS on, and see if that will go up straight or if it will turn everywhere. No, that's pretty good actually. We should be able to manage with that. Yeah, and if I look at the yaw that it's needing to keep straight. That's pretty good. So this will be it. This will be the lander for on the Mun. I might have to put that gear a little bit higher to be able to store that. Okay, revert, vehicle assembly. We will retract the gear like that. Nope, that's perfect. That will work. I think the antenna, yeah, that might work too. That should be fine like that. This will be it. So now we will actually do the route trick. First we take a coupler, a stack separator, put that there, then use the reroute. So we want this and this as the new route. So basically the lowest part is now the route. There is a reason for this madness. We go to sub-assemblies and we say we want a copy of that thing. Let's see, was that Alt? Let's see, why is not working? Oh, hang on, of course. Put it back on the normal mode. Offset, yeah. There we go. So we want this as a sub-assembly. Prospector probe. Save. So now we have a prospector probe sub-assembly, and we will now start to build a rocket for that. So we make a new one, don't save, we go back to the normal stuff, and we need a probe core. I like this one. And on top of that we will put the small, is there a smaller one? Oh yeah, there we go. There's the probe, where we put the payload. So now we are actually going to put a few of those satellites on. Sub-assembly, prospector probe. How far can we go up? We can only take a few, it looks like. Put one on. So put the second one on. Can we put more? No. So two. I don't think that's enough, to be honest, so I'm actually going to add another of these, and that's not going to work like that because it will be stuck to the top of the probe. Hang on. Take that away. That's a shame. I think I'll have to make a bigger rocket. New. Don't save. We will do this differently. We're going to take a bigger probe. Let's see. Is that smart to do it that way? Yeah, I think so. Let's see. Payload. Take this one. Yeah. And see how many of the probes we can fit on there. 1, 2. That's better. 3, 4. That's more like it. Okay. Build the fairing. There we go. There we go. So that's our basically our fairing for the probes. So now we have to get the staging in order because otherwise we won't have much that flies. It will just explode or do weird shit. Let's see. So this is the fairing itself. I want the fairing itself to be staged first, so we put that there. Then we basically want this probe to be staged, and that's, where's the separator? Oh, yeah, right there. That's the bottom one. So we put that first with the bottom engine. So that's one probe. Then we take, that's also the bottom again, so we add a stage, put that one in and that one in, and then we have the pre-last, which is now again the bottom there, and nope, that's the wrong spot there. So bottom engine, bottom separator. So this should actually work. This should help us. So we have the last one is that one. We can join those. So these two, then these two, those, that's fine. And the fairing is all the way at the bottom. That's fine. So that's good. Let's give ourselves some easy options here, at least until we get to the Mun. So we will put a MechJeb core on there, right there. We will need a fuel tank. Let's see, what size shall we do? I don't know how much push that will have, so let's have a look. Engine, that's quite a lot. That's really a lot. 3,500. I'm guessing it's including those fuel tanks though. Do we have like fuel? Does it say anything about that? No. Cross feed, that says enable, disable, nothing changes. So you would say that this is actually 3,500 delta V just from all that. Why is that thinking that? So this engine is that one. Yeah, that's why. That is why. That's not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be there. Yeah, that makes more sense. 1,100, which would take us to the Mun, but not circularize. So we would need a little bit more. Let's see, fuel. Let's add one more tank. There we go, like so. 1,500 should be enough to get us there, and then these beauties all are able to land, so that's good. Decoupler, should just do this one there. We need power, we need an antenna, so communication. I have comsats around the Mun, so if I just add a few of these, that should be way enough. And for power we will use this is a kind of big rocket, right? So maybe we should put big panels on. Nah, we'll use these. And I think also 3 should be enough. So we'll put those 3 on the tank. About there, that should be fine. Let's put in some staging, some actions, because I don't really feel like doing that by hand. We have custom group 1 for the solar panel, so we can do that in one go, and the antennas as well. So just press 1 and then all the antennas will deploy, and the solar panels as well. So that's all set. And now we need to work on drag, so we go back to build, and we have a decoupler already, so we are actually going to go for another fairing, 2.5 meter, put that under there, and we're going to encase this probe like so. Hang on, close fairing, there we go. So now the pusher engine to get us to the Mun is actually also encased. Now we need something to get this stack into orbit. Let's zoom out because it's quite a big payload. So we go back to the fuel tanks. Since it's big, we should probably add SAS. So we'll put an SAS on. We will put an orange tank and a skipper. See what that tells us. That tells us no way. Let me see, that staging is completely wrong. I think we confused the computer there. So, now, 34 should get us to orbit, but I don't think this is all correct what it's showing. So this engine, that engine, that's not right. We need to have the staging for that first. Where is it? So that is that one. So that should go there. That makes more sense. So 34, that should get us to orbit. That should get us to the Mun. And then we have the satellites, the probes, the landers to get us down. Well, I think TWR is 1.38, which I think is pretty good. Let's give this a shot. We have power. We could add a few batteries just to be sure. Although all the probes have batteries, which will also be used by the missile, so I think this should be fine. Let's put some clamps on, and let's get this puppy in the air. There we go, and we will call this the Mun or Explorer. Save, and the clamps went there. They should go there. So engine, the launch control, then we go decouple, engine, that's fine. Shroud, that's fine too. Another, hey, those are turned around. That shouldn't be there. So this one has to go there. That one has to go there. Let's see, so this one's the top. No, that's not quite what I'm looking for. Hang on. And those, what's that? This is all the probes. This always takes a little puzzle. Let's put that fairing with that probe. So with that engine. So we have engine, decoupler, and fairing. So this whole lot will be blown off. Engine start, and it takes off, so that's good. Then we have fairing there, which will deploy together with the top satellite. I think, yeah, that should be fine. Then we have the next one down, next one down, next one down. Yeah, that should be right. So save it, launch. Let's see if this will work. The suspense is killing me. Will it work? I hope it does. Okay, let's turn the overlay off. We don't need that right now. I'm going to cheat a little bit. Use gravity turn, my best friend. There we go. It's the first time I've used this satellite stack, so I'm quite curious whether it will work or not. I saw it on a stream that someone else did, and I'm real curious if it will work. So basically the idea is to fly this to the Mun, deploy the satellites that are in the fairing, and land them. They don't have really strong antennas, but that should be okay since we have the relay satellites in orbit of the Mun. So far so good. It looks like it's strong enough. So right now it's climbing to an apoapsis time of 50 seconds. After that, it will continue with the gravity turn and hopefully get us to space. Let's see if we can have a peek inside the fairings. See if we see it wobble. It's pretty okay. I think this is actually pretty good. I've tried this before when those nodes weren't implemented yet, and the whole payload would like swing through the fairing, and it was hopeless. So I really like the addition of those interstage nodes. So far so good. Our apoapsis is climbing to 50 seconds, at which the gravity turn mod will throttle down. We're still climbing nicely. Fuel is looking good. So throttle down should happen now. There we go. And now basically it holds 50 seconds, and to give us an optimal climbing trajectory. So time for me to vape a little. Sorry, I'm trying to quit smoking. It's not that easy. So if you hear like Darth Vader sounds in the background, that's me. So missile still climbing Epilepsis is now at 40 kilometers. Fuel is looking pretty good. Let's look at the Delta V stats. Our friend Megjeb. We have about 1400 left. So I think we will be pretty close to circularizing with just that. So that's good. I'm hoping that the pusher stage or the transit stage or whatever you want to call it has enough Delta V to actually get us to the Mun. And I'm curious to see it all. So climbing on. 50k Epilepsis. Fuel still looking good. I'm just hoping that we will actually be high enough for that fairing to deploy, because otherwise the drag might pull us back. But it's looking good. Of course, the burn time of the missile is hugely extended because we're only at like 1/3 throttle, so that does help. Okay, 450 Delta V to go, or yeah, we might actually be pretty close to circularizing just on this fuel. Delta V. Our periapsis is getting close to being out of the surface. Oh, that's going to be close. Okay, you can see the nose of the missile starting to, of the rocket starting to heat up. Oh, this is terrific. Now we coast. I don't think it could have been much better than this. This is really, really, really good. 8 meters per second left. And we are at the top of the burn. So now we just coast to the edge of the atmosphere, deploy, and circularize. So let's do a little physics time warp to speed up the process. As you can see, the computer is having slight issues with keeping up because it's actually turning red, because there's quite a lot of parts, quite a lot of physics to calculate. Yeah, thank you, sir. It is I'm pretty happy with that. It was a bit of a gamble whether that would work that well, but it did. So that's pretty good. Okay, we are getting close to the edge. Periapsis height is 10k now, so we're over at the surface. We will circularize and then start plotting our course to the Mun. Okay, turned off the physics warp because otherwise when we reach space it doesn't turn it off by itself. By the way, Rob, this is like a completely new concept for me. I've never tried this before, but I figured I'd give it a shot. I saw this on a vid and wanted to give it a try. Alright, going for the circularization burn. Let's just check the power level just to be sure. Yeah, we're good. No problems there. Alright, so the burn should start any second. Now we will see if my staging plan actually works. Oh, no, we need to manually stage. There we go. Let's press 1 to deploy everything. So, antennas are out, and the solar panels are out. And this should actually go to the Mun in a second. It's circularized, 80 kilometers. We can have a look at the statistics. That's a pretty good launch. 3,344 Delta V used. That's pretty optimal. Doesn't get much better than that. Okay, we don't need gravity turn anymore. So we go to the map, and then we'll look up the Mun, and gonna be lazy. Do a home and transfer, create. Okay. I don't quite like the fact that we would be going for a collision course, so what we will actually do, focus view, there we go, and we will slightly modify this. There we go. I think that's, no, that's too high. 50 kilometers, I think that is absolutely terrific. Execute, next node. Ready for the burn. 852 meters per second to get there. Then we have we enter a 50 kilometer orbit, and then we can have a look at launching our satellites. I don't really dare to deploy the fairing because well, actually it should be a separate thing, so let's quick save. Let's just do it. Hey, we can't. Oh, time warp's still on. Let's get rid of the... There we go. Now we're also a lot lighter. So there we see our bundle of probes. So basically these are all the landers we can use on the Mun to look for science. Not for science, look for ore. There you go. Bit longer burn than I'm used to doing because we've put quite a small engine on it. What I do want to check is if we actually are not burning the fuel on the probes, because that wouldn't be good. Nope. So that's good. So this might actually work. My new satellite deployment system. I like it. Okay, the only snag I might get, but we'll see that in a minute. I did put the small antennas on the landers. I don't know for sure if they're strong enough, so it might be another crater on the Mun, but we'll see that in a minute. Okay, that was our exit burn. Let's have a look at the actual results. A little higher than we wanted, but we can correct that later, that's fine. So we'll add a quick alarm for SOI change. We'll be entering Mun SOI in 5 hours 43 minutes. Of course, we can now do a time warp. Click it again so we go a little faster. There we go. So we can see the contact currently with Kerbin Space Center directly, and switching over now to Minmus. Actually, that's interesting. So we had a direct link with Minmus. There's better satellites at Minmus than at Mun. All right, but so far they have it has contact. Direct signal to KSC, so there's no problem there. How do you add an alarm? Yeah, what kind of alarm, Rob? What are you looking for? If you mean like what I just did, add the SOI alarm, if you have an SOI change on your current vessel route, you can just do quick add and do the SOI alarm. If you have a maneuver node, that will also be shown. Right now there is no maneuver node, so it won't show. You can also say if you want a launch window to a different planet, you can say add new alarm, and you pick the transfer window, and you can say okay, periapsis, I can't seem to find an activate button. Hang on, let's close that. Well, first I have to be in Mun space. There should be one. Let's give it a second. How many seconds left? 1 minute. Let's click. Let's go faster now. Come on, go faster. There we go. You don't. It might be because you are playing KSP 1.3 with a different version of Kerbal Alarm Clock. This is 1.2, so I've actually got the mods for 1.2 installed. You mean like this one? Warp to PE? This is just a timer to go to PE. Hang on. So we will want to circularize at the periapsis, create and execute. I'm not going to be too difficult about that. Then we will have to have a look at our. Did I put a target in? It says, I have one of the satellites as target. So the stack is going now into Mun orbit. Still a direct signal with KSC, so we're okay there. Once we get behind the Mun, we will probably bounce it off one of the relays, so there's no problems there. This should go okay. So this stage is 863 left. We will burn 250 to circularize, so we are A-okay here, no problems whatsoever. I would actually like the orbit to be a little bit lower, so we will change the periapsis to about 40 kilometers, and at the next apoapsis, it's just easy and fast to use MechJeb for the stuff like this. You know, I can do it by hand, but you know what's well, I could say what's the point, but I'm at a point in the game where I just like to see results, and I'm not too worried about doing everything manually. I know some purists would say, oh, but that's cheating. Well, so be it. Okay, so periapsis height is now 40 kilometers. And there we go. So we will again circularize at the periapsis and execute that, and there we go. So we have now a link. There we can see it, KMU 113. That's the communication satellite, which helps us communicate with Kerbin. Without that one, this would be unable to fly. Okay. Now let's see how many of these probes I can get to the surface in one piece. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and fire. Alright, so we will want to burn retrograde for this. So we will make sure engines are at minimum. We will stage once. Perfect. It worked. Yep. That is terrific. Switch to the probe. There we have our lander, which has very limited capabilities. No mech jib, no extendable solar panels, no extra functionality apart from prograde, retrograde, but of course it's very cheap and it weighs next to nothing. Yes, I always use the dark side, you know that. Alright, so engine is running. We do have Kerbal Engineer because I upgraded the tracking center, so we can actually show that. Let's see, I would like to see vessel. Where's it? TWR surface. What does that say? Ah, here, 16.7, so it's way strong enough. Let's see what that, will that change? Oh yeah, that changes. So the engines are really fine for getting this to the Mun. So I'm actually going to hide the engineer because that will just distract me. Delta V is way out the window, so we should have ample time to land this. Let's first swap back to this one. Turn on SAS, can we? Oh, that's that's not the ship. This is the ship. There we go. SAS. Keep it retrograde because that's how the probes will come off. Go back to this one. We'll just leave that. This, unfortunately, will stay in Mun orbit. Well, I'm sure we will leave more trash as we go. Then we go to the map. Let's see, can I just do that like this? I don't think I can turn on the overlay here. Can I use this? This is the map that ScanSat made for me. Big map. Overlay control. Draw overlay. There we go, that's better. So we have our ore map. So one thing we don't have to do is go to the spots where it's completely black, because there is no ore there. We will need the sunny side. Yeah. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Let's see, sunny side. We need to pick a spot to land there. The best thing would be to aim for the inside of a crater. So let's first lower the orbit. So we aim a retrograde, and we will lower the orbit to about 10K. As you can see, we're 32, 30. That goes pretty quick actually. And I think I actually will have to reduce the thrust on this, because let's put that on 50%. The engine's actually a bit too powerful. So now we have a new orbit. Periapsis is right there. Periapsis there. Add maneuver. I will right click the apoapsis so I can actually see the number change. We want to go to 10K as well. There, that should be about right. So we have 10.8, 10.8. That should work. 17 meter per second burn, which is next to nothing. We can do a quick add of the maneuver node, and then in 17 minutes we will be there, so we can time skip. Hey there, Cryptic. How you doing? Cryptic Storm. Alright, so we are descending to the maneuver, which would actually be a retrograde burn. So we can probably just keep the, there we go. Close, close. Alright, we have 3 minutes until the burn. Let's turn it to stability assist. I am going to use this. There we go. The overlay, because then I can aim better where we are going. Turn towards the maneuver. There we go. And we are going to do this really carefully because of the engine power. Yeah, I'm doing good. I can't complain. It's weekend, so it's always good weekend. So what are we doing here? We are putting down ore probes. We made a scan of the Mun, and now we are going to have a look for a site where we can drill for ore and convert that to fuel. And whilst talking, I forgot to burn, which is not really a big deal, but it's not a really essential. There we go. 10.3, 10.8. I'm good enough. I'm good with that. Alright, so now we are at a much lower orbit, and we will start to pick a landing site. Orbit science. So let's zoom around to the day site. Ah, the title is still the Minmus job. Thank you for telling me that. I will actually change that right away. Or prospecting the Mun update. I really need to keep better track of that. I keep forgetting that. The Minmus job was 2 days ago, actually. Alright, where's the probe at? There we are. Dark side of the Mun right now. Bounce signal through a relay. So let's time skip until we get to the light. I'm sorry. I didn't have too much time that day. I needed to work the day after, so but it's weekend now, so I can go on a little bit longer tonight. So I hope I'll make it up to you then. Alright, in the meantime, we are, this is still pretty low sunlight, so let's skip a little bit further. And I think I saw on the overlay, yeah, there is no ore there. We have 9% here. And how about there? That's also 9%. Okay, I think we should take a landing spot either before the big crater or after. Of course, that is kind of hard to see right now. Let's hang on. Lesson number 1, don't click on the wrong items. Let's see, where are we? We are still away from the site, so I think we should go. Let's put probe number 1 down about there where we are right now. So we will extend the gear, turn retrograde, and burn like a madman, because I want to go down pretty much from here. Let's rotate this nose up. Let's do it like that. 300 to go. I think this crater here, maybe that's a good spot. Should we try that one? If we don't blast over it. Yeah, this will be the place. That's where we're going to go. So we need to burn, let's see, burn that way. There. Yep. And I think I was a bit optimistic because We are still pretty high up, so we are actually going to lift the, turn the right way. Probably going to have to lift the path a little bit. There we go. There we go. Okay, so how long have I been streaming for right now? 50 minutes. Not that long yet. If you mean in general, not that long. Probably about a week. Okay, I think this is starting to look... no, 50. 50, not 15. 50. Let's push that a little bit more so we end up more in the middle. There we go. Our altitude 2.5 kilometers, so let's slow down a bit. 2 kilometers, let's slow down a lot. Okay. $1,500 meters to go. 13, 1,000, 900, 800, so 700. Fuel is looking good. 500. Now this should be somewhat flat since we are in the middle of a crater. 12 meters per second, 400 meters to go. Fuel is looking good. Let's rotate a little bit. There we go. 8 meters per second, 300 to go. $250. Let's try to keep it at 5 meters per second. Otherwise we're going too slow. Oh, how does that look? I think we're good. 150 to go. $100 to go. Okay, our horizontal speed is pretty good, 4.9 meters per second, 40 meters to go. We can see a shadow. Slow down more. 2 meters per second descending. And we have touchdown. We have landed. Let's turn the overlay off. Okay, man, see you in a bit. Alright, now we see if this will work. So, run analysis. Midlands, so we have surface ore of 13.74%, which is actually a pretty nice percentage. So this is a potential base site. Let's see, what name does this have? Rename vessel. Mun or Explorer probe. That's pretty good. We'll leave it as it is. I'm just going to call it a lander, accept. So that's number one is landed. Pretty good results. It's actually a very nice flat area. If you look at the how the ship is pointing up, that is pretty much good, terrific. So shut down the engine, and we will go back to the mothership. I'll just do a quick save in case something bugs out. Go back to the mothership, take the next one, and pick another landing site and have a look what the ore is like there. So here we have 13.7. We go back to space. Let me see where that thing is. Mun or Explorer, switch to. There we go. So there we are. The junk from the previous one is there. So 3 more to go. So we stage once, and we have another ship. That's a docking. Yeah, there we go. There it is. Turn retrograde. Let's make sure that we do not hit the mothership. We'll burn the periapsis down to 10 kilometers again, just like we did before. I'm actually not going to bother with the maneuver node this time, I think. 9.9, good enough. The Mun is turned white. That is interesting. Is that the overlay which is bugging out? Let's have a look. Can we just draw overlay? Okay, it's not white anymore. Good enough. Alright, so this time we will just do a time warp to the periapsis. We have hold retrograde on, so that's good. So we can just burn retrograde to lower the apoapsis, also down to 10 kilometers. There we go. So we just passed the periapsis. We are facing retrogrades. We will burn slowly. See the apoapsis decrease. Get it also down to 10k, and then we're good to go. There. Good enough. Alright, and with the previous satellite, or lander I should say, I limited the thrust to 50, and that actually worked out pretty well. We'll actually rename this now. Rename, lander, accept, and time skip to the sunny side to pick a landing site. Okay, as we saw in the resource scan, the crater itself has no resources, so we will now pick a site behind the crater. So we move a little bit further. And stop about there. Switch to the view of the ship. Okay, so here's the large crater edge. We're actually so low that you can't really make out the crater, but that's okay. Turn on the HUD. Extend the gear because I'm bound to forget otherwise. And we will pick a crater. Let's have a look. Okay. Let's see, I think actually maybe we'll just park it right here in between. That looks pretty flat to me. We'll do that. So we will burn, get rid of the speed. Turn that off. So I want to burn that way. Rotate. There. Yep. I'll retrograde again. So basically I want to land somewhere in this area to have a look at that site. There we go. Actually, I'm actually going to end up here, but that's okay. Probe number 2, or lander number 2. We are 5 kilometers up, well, actually 5.5 about, and descending. Going down at, what's our vertical speed? 60 meters per second down. So we'll keep an eye on that so we don't become yet another Mun crater. Let's speed down, slow down, 50 meters per second. Keep the 50 meters per second until we reach about 2 kilometers, then slow down more. You can see those craters with really steep walls, so I hope the spot I'm picking isn't going to be problematic, but we will see that in a second. Okay, probe signal isn't really great, but its signal is being bounced from the Mun to Minmus to a satellite around Kerbin and then to the KSC, so we have a very interesting path for our satellite. Let's slow down to 40 meters per second. Oh, actually, this is the second landing. You missed the first one. First landing was a success and 17% ore. Working on the second landing now. About 1200 meters up. And welcome back, by the way. We're going too slow. Let's speed up a bit. Let it fall a bit more. Okay. 25 meters per second, 800 meters to go. $500 meters to go. 400 meters to go. 250 to go. Okay, 130. 90. 70. We see a shadow. So it's looking good so far. 40. 30. 20. And we are at 10. And we have touchdown. Also a pretty flat spot between the craters. Let's turn the overlay off. We'll turn that engine off in case I hit a key by accident. We will take the surface scanner. Hey, why doesn't that want to do anything? Oh, it already I guess it's already working. Or surface. Ah, this is also Midlands. We did a surface scan, so we have all the data. Just by going here, we know now that this is 13.67, which is also pretty good. I think we should go for probe number 3. So we go back to the mothership again, and where was it? Mun Ore Explorer. Switch. So this is our stack of probes. They are being held here by this fairing. They have interstage nodes you can use. It is a really great way of actually bringing a lot of little probes without having to build very odd contraptions. So let's turn this thing retro. We will decouple the next one. Switch to it. Is this it? Yep, that's it. Change this to 50%. We need to rename it as well. Well, you don't need to, but I just want it to be shown as a lander. There we go. We will burn really slow so we don't destroy anything there. Periapsis to 10k, then circularize on the other side of the Mun, and pick landing site number 3. So then I can have a look later on where the base will be. I haven't made a base design yet, so I have no clue yet what that's going to look like, but that's to be determined. Essentially, the idea is to set up a fuel site on the Mun to supply Mun landers that ferry tourists to the Mun. Here you can actually see the path of the signal. First the Mun orbit, then it hits Minmus, because the better satellites are there, and then goes to Minmus. So it's actually quite a tour of the signal. We will go to the periapsis. We'll say hold retrograde. It's a bit ridiculous how that signal is being bounced around. Well, these are the oldest satellites, so it's not really surprising. Okay, so retrograde, we'll burn, lower the apoapsis so that we can land again. We'll go down to 10 again, and hopefully we'll actually pick a better site. So we have 2 probes landed now, two landers. We have one here on the west side of the large crater, one on the east side, and I think we should just go for a spot way further on, maybe hit another biome, or well, actually the crater itself didn't have anything. Let's get the map and get the overlay control. There we go. So we've got one parked here, one parked there, and we have, this is all biome midlands, twin craters and lowlands, twin craters. Maybe we should try to hit the twin craters, because that will give us this whole area scanned more correctly. Of course, this is pretty low. Of course, now we know Midlands is the better site so far. What have we got here? This is all Midlands, so we don't really need to go there. Yeah, I think we should probably try to hit either lowlands or twin craters. We'll see where we end up. Okay, so we go back to the light side of the planet. I'm just going to turn the overlay off, because then I can see a bit better where the light is. So we time warp. And the reason I'm doing all the landings more or less on the equator is to basically to create easy return windows to the station, which has to be built. So there's some work left there. Okay, so we're passing over the 2 previous landing sites, and I think if we could put it in that crater there, that would be terrific. So we will go a little bit further, and let's see if I can identify it from space. It should be on our route. Let's have a quick look. 1, 2 connected. It's hard to judge. Are we getting close? No, it's still pretty far away. So we should be nearly over it. I think that's that one. There we go. It's actually this crater here. I don't know if we're going to make that. Let's try anyway. So we want to move the ship that way. There's the node. We basically want to go straight down from there. Let's have a look how we end up now. So we have the 1, 2, yeah, we're straight over it. Burn. Come on, burn. Okay, it's going to be a slightly alternative landing there. There we go. Because I want to go here. So, manual control. We want to push our node that way. And I guess a bit more north. Actually, that's west, it's not north. There we go. Yeah, that's getting close to where I want to go. There. Gear down. We are 7 kilometers up. And the biome, does it show here? Lowlands. We haven't got lowlands yet, so if we can manage this landing, then we will get biome data for lowlands as well, which is good. So, landing number 3. And I think we are somewhat over the crater where we want to be, so that's good. Our speed is 100 meters per second at 4.5 kilometers. Let's slow down because we are going too fast. There we go, 50 meters per second, good. Let's turn this around. Let's see, I want to have it like that. There. 3.5K to go, 3K to go. Slow down more. Think we might get lucky there. I just don't know how the slope will be. We'll have to see that in a minute. 2 kilometers to go. Let's slow down a bit more. So actually the altitude over terrain is provided by Kerbal Engineer, and that's what I use to sort of eyeball the speed and time to go. I purposely put plenty of fuel on the probes so that I could kind of pick and choose where I want to put them. 1 kilometer to go. We should probably go slower than this. 800 meters. 700. 600. 500. Alright, and there's the shadow, so we can have an idea. That's where we're going, that's where the shadow is. 8 meters to go. 350. Oh, we're going too slow now. Let's throttle down a bit. There we go. Okay, 200. Slow down. 10 meters per second. 150. 100. These are actually quite nice probes. There we go. 50 meters to go. 30. 20. 10. Okay. Come on, you're going really slow now. Yeah, 1 meter per second landing. Come on. This looks pretty flat as well. There we go. Okay. We managed to land it in the lowlands, which is good. Let's turn the overlay off. It's my only... Yeah, of course, the only thing I always think it's very gray here, which you can't really help. So turn the engine off. Let's go to the, where is it? There it is. Turn the run analysis, and we can see that we have 4.64 here, so this is really not a good site. But it doesn't surprise me because the orbital scan already showed it wasn't great. So that's number 3. Did I make that a lander? Yeah, I did. So we'll leave this here. We'll do the last one. Then we have 4 survey sites on the sunny side of the Mun, and can have a look at where the base should be positioned. So I actually did manage to get it into the crater I wanted in. That's good. Happy with that. We go back to the orbiter, or the drone carrier, whatever you want to call that. There we go, Mun or Explorer, switch to. I should probably do a quick save. I haven't done that in a while, just in case Kraken visits. There we go. So, please turn a retrograde. That will be your last package to deliver. There we go. And we will switch to it. There we go. Very pleased with how that missile performed. There, 50% thrust. And we will also name this a lander, accept. And then the next thing would be lower the periapsis. We're actually pushing the carrier a bit, which right now isn't an issue because it served its purpose. Now we need to pick another landing site, and then we should have more data. And at 10 kilometers on or about, warp to the periapsis. We'll just look at the craft. It's much nicer to look at than the map. So very simple probe. Let's have a look what that weighs actually, because I don't know. How much does it weigh? It's only 731 kilos, so that's pretty good. That's probably why it was pretty easy to get 4 of them on that missile. Okay, retro at the periapsis. Let's lower the apoapsis to circularize. And it looks like, yeah, there we go. We did push that periapsis down a little bit, but I think we should be okay, considering the periapsis is here. So now we actually have to look at a place to put it. Let's see, there's far side crater here. Let's get the ore map. And I think Midlands craters is not that good. Where did it say far side crater was here somewhere, wasn't it? Let's see, Midlands we've done that. Lowlands we have done. We could do twin craters, but that's going to be a little bit of a course correction, so that may be for some other time. I think Midland craters would be where we're going, but the ore there is already listed as pretty poor. But I think it's, let's see, twin craters. We're going to try twin craters. So we will actually put a maneuver node in this time, because we want to put our path over the twin craters at 67 meter per second burn. Let's turn towards the maneuver node. There we go. Oh, come on. Let's first put the SAS in the correct mode. And there we go. So we can remove all those old alarms. We can do a quick add maneuver alarm. Skip time. And we'll do a double check if we are still correct. Yeah, I think that's about right. With Minmus, this is a pain to do because it will actually turn so quickly that if you do your course correction, you might still end up somewhere completely different. So 3 minutes to go for the burn. Close, remove the alarm. Okay, I am going to time skip a little bit because we only need a slight burn correction. There we go, 2 minutes, 1 minute. Seconds. All right, there we go. Okay, let's look at that on the map. Perfect. Okay, so where we want to land is basically right about there. So what if we just put a maneuver node there, which will indicate us how much time until we are straight over it, which I think would probably be a good idea because it's kind of hard to actually see how far you have to go from this low altitude. So we have 3 minutes until we are over the twin craters, and that's our next destination. So we put the gear down. What's that? Mun Science Lander debris. Yeah, not every mission is a success, and the junk that's lying there is every proof of the failures of the past. So yeah, it does happen. So 2 minutes to go, no, 3 minutes to go. Let's time skip that. We don't need to be actually looking at paint dry. Let's try to keep something happening here. 2 minutes until we're over twin craters. This wouldn't be my location of choice due to the inclination it would give. Well, Highlands, we haven't done that one either yet. Midlands, 40 seconds, 30 seconds. It should swap to twin craters anytime soon. Let's have a look. Where are we? Are we over our site? Getting there. This is the site. Twin craters. That's where we are. So anything behind here would actually be fine. So I'm actually going to say get rid of that maneuver node, and I want to land in that crater there, which is 28 seconds away. I think it's that one. So let's burn. And we are slightly off course for that, so we will correct. There, so we see the marker there. Oh, slow down more. Almost overhead. Surface speed 200. Okay, it's dropping nicely. Look overhead again. Let's rotate. So up is up and down is down. There we go. Yep, that's where I want to go. Okay. That should be right about in the center of the crater. We are over the Twin Craters biome, so we should get data for the entire biome. We have 6 kilometers to descend, and so far life is good. Probes are happy. Don't want to drift away too far, so there. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go straight down from here. I probably should have corrected that a little bit, but like this it will work. So essentially free fall straight down towards the moon, and we will correct in a minute. I'm just gonna put the what I'm doing here really is making sure that like east is east and west is west. The only reason I'm doing that is that in case I decide, since the fuel on these probes is pretty high, to bunny hop it somewhere, I actually know immediately which key to push to turn east. So now I just have to push D to turn east. There you go. So let's put north up top there, so we can bunny hop to the east. 3 kilometers to go, 90 meters per second, and we are looking at landing the last of the probes. And then I'm probably going to deorbit the carrier because it's useless to us now. 80 meters per second, 1500 meters to go, and so far I think we picked a site again. 1000 meters to go. Let's slow down. Go down to 50 meters. 700 meters to go. Let's go down to 40 meters. 500. We'll go aim at 30 meters per second. 400. Let's go aim at 20 meters per second. 300. Go down to 10. There we go. 250. 200. And 150. Okay, we'll go down to 5 meters per second now for the last descent. 70 meters to go. Alright, 50, 40, slow down more. Final descent, 20 meters to go. There is our shadow. I probably should have put that away. 2.5 meters per second, there we go, and we have landed. A little harder than I had wanted, but we are down. So there's a slight incline here. We probably should have landed a little bit more to the west. However, it actually does look a bit hilly there as well, so I think we're good with where we landed. Turn the engine off and let's do an analysis on this area. Let's turn that overlay off as well. There we go. Run analysis, and this is also not a great site for ore. So 4 probes have landed. We know where to put our base now. So that's good. Okay, so this one's done. We can leave it here on the surface for now. We have put 4 landers down. There's one here, one there, and we also investigated the area here and there, so that's good. Let's look up the probe carrier. There we go. Switch to. We're going to smash this into the surface because we don't need it anymore. Aim it retrograde. There we go. That will make a nice crater. Time skip. Let's not keep too much junk in the in space. See if it can save itself. No, it can't. There we go. Alright, Rob, have a good night, sleep well. Talk to you next time. Okay, so we got rid of that. It looks like some of the trash. Oh no, that's a... Oh yeah, that was the probe. It didn't explode in one go. So now we wait until the game realizes it crashed. It did. Tracking station. There. Well, actually those that was a pretty successful mission. We managed to get 4 landers on the Mun, which gave us a lot more data about the ore. So if we look at the Mun, and where is the ore map? How'd that work? I thought you could also do that here. Overlay, draw overlay, there we go. So now we should have more data. Does this all still show 14? That's kind of weird. I thought that would have been different. 14. Hang on. So I think this one was the best. Let's fly. Let's go there. Let's put the percentage in the name. I think that would be a good idea. I think this was 17. 13.74. Okay. Rename. We'll add it to the name. 13.74. Accept. And then, oh, that happens again. That's a weird glitch. That's good. I know how to fix it now, though. Just draw the overlay. Remove the overlay. There you go. Then we had this one. We'll go there. Switch to. And where's the machine? There's the machine. 13.67. Rename. 13.67. Accept. Let's see. Yep, it is different. Slightly. Go to this one. I said go to that one. And this was, how much was that? Not much, I remember that. There we go, 4.64, so this is out of the question. We're not going to go there. 4.64. And then we go to the last one, which was nearby, I think. Right there. Switch to. Oh, what was that? It jumped a little. 7.94, which is actually, compared to the last site, not that bad, but still we have better. So 7.94, rename. There we go. Accept. And yeah, that's good. Return to the Space Center. Now I can actually have a look at the Space Center, and I can see there which site is the best so far. Okay, well, that was a pretty productive mission. Prospected quite a lot of locations on the Mun, and I should probably change that name around. Well, 13.4. Yeah, this makes sense. So this is our best site, second best site, worst site, and well, nearly worst site. So I guess for now this is a good point to say goodnight. So next time the bases will start, either base or orbital station. Not sure on that yet. I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you did, click follow. If you want to keep track of what I'm doing, I'm putting my schedule on Twitch as well, or look at Twitter at Snarfster42. And hope you enjoyed it, and have a good evening. See you guys next time. Thank you for watching.